welcome to this class. We are going to be working on N.1 today. Rational functions, asymptotes, and excluded values. So we're going to learn about vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So our vertical asymptote is the asymptote going up and down. Whenever we talk about our vertical asymptote, we are talking about an x value. If you notice on this graph, on this line, this vertical asymptote line, we hit the point x equals -3. So, and all the other points going up and down, it's always going to be x equals -3. So that is our vertical asymptote. So vertical asymptote is x, and horizontal asymptote is going to be y. So I'm going to draw a line going this way, and if you notice, this is where y equals 0. Horizontal, same thing. Horizontal is, that was my vertical line. Oops. So remember, horizontal is horizon line. You ever take an art class, you draw that picture where you draw a horizon line and you draw the sun. This is your horizon line, the line going this way, right? So that's a good way to think about it. So horizontal, it's going to go this way. Now it's going to be y equals 6. Okay? And we are going to move on to N.2. And we are evaluating rational expressions. So what we're doing is we are plugging in -1 in for u. Okay, so I just replaced the u's with -1. This becomes 1 minus 4. This becomes 1 plus 5. And that becomes -3 over 6, or -1/2. -1 over 2. Given value for D, -2 minus 7, -2 plus 10. Okay, and we get -9 over 8. -9 over 8. Okay, plug in the value for A. -1 plus 4 over 1 minus 2. We get 3 over -1, so the answer is -3. Okay. And our last one is we are solving rational equations. So it is N.7. And the way we are going to solve this is we are going to use cross multiplication. So we're going to multiply like that. We're going to multiply these two. We're going to multiply those two. So we got k minus 7. So we got, So we got k minus 7 times negative 10 equals 4 times k plus 7. Okay, and we are going to distribute negative 10k plus 70 equals 4k plus 28. Subtract 28 on both sides. And we get 70 minus 28. So we should be at 42. Yeah, 42. And I will also add 10 on both sides. And up at 10k on both sides. And I am left with 14k equals 42. And last but not least, I'm going to divide by 14 on both sides. And we are left with 3. Okay, equals 3. Okay. Or k. Alright. So you don't actually need 2 solutions. If there's only one solution, you don't need to put in another value. So now we're going to multiply negative 1 times x plus 6 equals, multiply 6 times x plus x minus 8. And we are left with negative x minus 6 equals 6x minus 48. Okay, and then we are going to add 48 on both sides. Is 42. Then we're going to plus x on both sides. And these are going to cancel. These are going to cancel. And we got 7x divided by 7. 42 divided by 7 is x equals 6. Okay, so now it's going to get a little more complex. So we got q times q plus 9 q plus 9. I'm going to rewrite it. And so we multiply those two, and then we multiply those two. So we got q plus 6, q plus 6 times q minus 3. We're going to distribute. So we got q squared plus 9q equals q squared minus 3q plus 6q minus 18. First things first, we're going to combine our like terms. And maybe even subtract q squared on both sides, since those can cancel each other out. And we're left with 9q equals 3q minus 18. Subtract 3q on both sides. And this should be a 9q. And we are left with these canceling each other out. And we got 6q equals negative 18. So q is negative 3. We got w times w minus 8, and we got w minus 6 times w minus 1. So we got w squared minus 8w. And we got w squared minus w minus 6w minus, well, plus 6. Okay, and combined our like terms, subtract w squared, negative 8w equals negative 7w plus 6 plus 7w on both sides. Negative w equals 6. So w equals negative 6. Okay. And finally, I'll do one more example. Okay. So I multiplied these two things, multiplied those two things, set them equal to each other. I'm left with h squared plus 13h equals negative 40. So now we got h squared plus 13h plus 40 equals 0. Okay, now we got to factor this out. I'm going to use the x method to factor this out. The way the x method works is we got to use the first number, so this number times this number. So 1 times 40 is 40, so 40 on the top and 13 on the bottom. Now we got to find out two numbers that I'll multiply to give you 40 and add to give you 13. So we can make a list. So there's 1 times 40. Those won't add to give you 13. 2 times 20. That won't be 13. 3. Well, 3 doesn't go into 40. We could do 4 times 10. We could do 5 times 8. And we could do, well, 5 times 8. If I do 5 times 8, it's gonna give me 40. And then if you add them, it gives you 13. So that's our answer. And then we're gonna put it over h. So our our factored out values is h plus 5 and h plus 8 equals 0. Two separate equations, so h plus 5 equals 0. H plus 8 equals 0. We get h equals negative 5. H equals negative 8. So our answers is negative 5 or negative 8. Okay. And that is all for today.